He wants to jump
1,000 cars. Sir, you have 1,000 cars.
I don't think I'd attempt to try this stunt.
Or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Too many cars.
car. You know, roses would be...
Like I put my beer belly on it.
If you can't immediately tell somebody how many cars you have,
you'll really give those uppity yuppies something to think about.
Stay on the bar. Don't go off the bar with your Bronco.
1980 Volvo horns, what's right? I want to have a man's coolant.
and he's like, "Oh, I thought it'd be small. It's for a small car." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's still an automatic transmission. They're never going to be light."
It's definitely going to have to crash.
Starting off with Brad buying another car.
That's the West.
Internet. You know, is this a Nigerian oil print?
I also wish you drove a Tan Camry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's a
horrible,
very
horrible podcast content.
Very
Talking about a picture.
inside joke. Welcome back to another episode of Auto Off Topic. Hello, Brad.
Good evening, Andrew. I think we're going to be way off topic tonight because I don't think either of us did much car stuff this week.
Well, I talked about it on last week's episode that I was going to a track day, and I did.
Okay. Most excellent.
So I did the first one of the season for me, and I did Lime Rock Park, which is a super cool place.
And it's not your first time doing Lime Rock, correct?
No, I did it back in 2021. It was the last time I got there.
And the Galant last time, though, right?
Nope, G20.
Oh, so G20's been there twice.
Yep, and then I wasn't. I apparently, when Track Night opened up their scheduling, apparently scheduled one for tomorrow, but for some reason, even though I was pretty good about putting everything on the calendar, completely forgot to put it on the calendar, completely forgot that it was tomorrow, and double booked myself. So, not going to do that one tomorrow.
So I take it that the other thing you booked is more important than a track day.
Yeah, it's our work meeting stuff, so I didn't.
Oh.
Normally on a Friday afternoon, I'd be pretty open, and I would just,
meander on
up
over
early.
Yep.
Because it's only at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So
maybe you can reschedule the meeting. You can use some of that hefty pull you have over at that company and reschedule the meeting to fit your day.
I can't because it's a special thing that we're doing.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
But
that's fine.
Anyway,
that's we all make sacrifices for the thing that helps pay for cars.
Well, I don't know why. I don't even know how I completely forgot about it because I had already, I looked and the thing was the transaction was in March, which means I had already booked my Nürburgring stuff. And I don't know. I guess my plan usually for track days, I do one a month. And then not realizing that there's a week between this last one, which was in April, and the next one, which was in May. So yes, they're in 2 different months, but they're only a week apart.
Yeah, it's fun. They can be 2 different months and be minutes apart if you timed it right. So
yeah,
I guess that can happen.
But usually they're I don't know, they're just kind of spread out further, and I just didn't. I don't know why. I just donkey brains. Looking at April 26th. I'm yeah, May 5th is far away from that. Sure. It's so far away.
It feels like it.
That's at least 20 days away.
The number 5 is 21 days before the number 26. So I
exactly.
guess the inverse must also automatically be true.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's a month between them, right?
Yeah, math brain. I get it. It's fine. But you're not going tomorrow. So instead of talking about tomorrow's track day, why don't you talk about last week's track day?
Well, I had scheduled one for May, but at the end of the month. So that was at Palmer because I'd never been to Palmer.
There were 2 in May.
Yeah, I made the mistake, but I only wanted to do one.
That's probably really your mistake, is you booked 2 in the same month and didn't even think about it. So
I've done NHMS a bunch of times. If you do it before noontime, it's no big deal. And then I didn't. But then apparently the SCCA emailed, they're oh, since this is only the first time you've ever done it late, we'll still give you a refund Or actually, they
nice.
give you a credit, and you just use it for the next one.
Okay, so you're not losing anything other than just not
No.
doing it tomorrow. Oh,
No,
that's cool.
they're actually really cool about it. This happened when I was out there for a month. I had to cancel 2 of them. They just gave me credits, and I used these first 2 track days actually were paid for by the credits for the ones that I didn't do last year. So
Okay, so that's pretty cool.
I'll just roll this into the next one.
Yep, that's pretty fair. I dig it.
No big deal.
Very cool.
So Lime Rock was Lime Rock was really cool. It was pouring rain. Our buddy Joe went out there with me. He's got is that a 19? I can never remember the year of that car.
19 or 20.
Yeah, 19 ZL1. I can't even get the I kept asking him the model. I'm like, I don't even understand all these model codes. So it's an SS with a ZL1 package.
Yes. ZL1's
But then there's but then there's another package that is basically the same, except it adds the supercharger, and one of those was there.
That's a 1LE, I think.
Yeah, and it adds like dive planes and like a spoiler. So like the ZL1 and 1LE, like in my brain, are really hard to keep separated.
Separate. In fact, I don't even know that we're right. Like we could be wrong.
Pretty sure his car is a ZL1.
We've never pretended to be super huge enthusiasts about new cars. So,
well, I don't know. They're like
1LE adjustments. 1LE is the track like package.
Well, it's hard because they didn't really used to do that until like I think. Oh, I guess GM always kind of did that with performance versions.
Well, they always have. Because I mean, go back to the first Camaro, and the performance package, the Z28, which where all these things come from, is just the internal office production code. It didn't mean anything, and that's the same way it's always been. Like, there's been a 1LE Camaro since I think definitely 4th gen, maybe even late 3rd gen, and it was always like a handling package. So it looks like you are correct though. The 1LE is the supercharged 6.2 liter. Whereas the other one we were talking about is not. That's a naturally aspirated car.
Still incredibly fast.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Like, in fact, the 2 of them, we were all in the intermediate run group. The 2 of them ended up running together, and they were basically running the same time.
Right.
So,
which is driver skill probably, because obviously his car's not as fast as the 1LE car.
On the straight, but
yeah.
Doesn't matter in the corner.
It's the same car.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Did he embarrass you on the straightaways with his car?
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah.
We have video of him passing me. It's like
driving past.
I mean, you slow down a little bit when you give somebody a point by because the passing zones are kind of short at Lime Rock. Okay. You've only got that short little when you come up the back hill.
Yep.
To the next right-hand corner.
And
that's not a long straightaway.
No, not at all.
And then you can only do it basically from the beginning of pit entrance to just about pit exit.
Okay.
Straight. Samposi straight, which is not that long either.
No. Yeah, it's not a huge track. What is it, a mile around?
Mile and a half.
Mile and a half, okay. It's a good track. I mean, from my video game experience, I like it. I'd love to actually have a car there, but I don't live close enough there anymore, so I can't. It's fine.
I don't live close enough there.
That's
kind of annoying. We were talking about this, me and Joe. We are lucky. We do live generally pretty close to a bunch of really nice racetracks.
Yep.
Like they're all within. Lime Rock is the furthest, but everything is less than 2 hours.
Sure. I'm glad Joe got the car out on track because I know that's the main reason he bought that car. So,
yeah.
Good to see it get used.
It was interesting. You add an extra quart of oil if you're going to track it. Like that's what it tells you to do in the owner's manual. Which
just for like lateral G-forces?
Yeah, maybe. How many quarts of oil do you think that car takes?
7.
With the extra, it was 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's obviously not anything like a fancy dry sump or anything.
I don't think so.
That's crazy. It's a lot of oil.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's more than my diesel 6.6 liter Chevy truck took.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of oil.
Mm-hmm.
It must have like a really big oil cooler.
I think it does. Yeah, I think it's got
Like
all
a
that extra stuff.
4.5 quart oil cooler.
It might. I mean, that's a legit way to cool an engine is with an oil cooler. So
Yeah, no, that is a lot of oil. That's an impressive number of quarts of oil. That's more than 2 jugs.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But I had fun in the G20. It's a momentum car. I was really reeling people in through corners. And then sometimes they'd be in a faster car that let you go by. Other times they'd be annoying and just go fast and then go slow. And you're like, man, if you would just let me go by you real quick, I'd get away from you in the corner here. And then I kind of wouldn't let you catch me in the straight or pass me.
Right.
And then I'd just eventually get away from you.
Yeah, because that track is mostly corners. Like you said, there's not a lot of long straights. There's a little short shoot, like after the S curves, and then there's the short uphill and the short downhill and the main straight. And that's really it. The rest of the time,
and I'm running intermediate. I mean, I was catching. There's minis. There was a Evo 9. I would catch through the corners. There's 911 that was driving kind of slow.
Yeah, well, driver skill is a big part of it too, and experience. You've done a bunch of them. You know the car, and it just becomes. It doesn't matter how much horsepower you have when it's mostly turns. So, and my experience obviously with Lime Rock is all on virtual video games, but I know that the difference that it sure does. But the difference in speed in the corners between talking about Forza, like a B class car and an E class car or a D class car, the cornering speed isn't much different. So
yeah, this would be
mostly cornering. Then
G20 would definitely be a C class car.
I was going to say either a high D or a low C.
Yeah,
because usually they get a C class needs more horsepower.
I think probably a C because of the tires and the suspension.
Yeah, maybe. I would say at least a high D. But I think the horsepower would keep it down to like a C.
I got a header though.
A high D
How many points is that?
It's like 3 or 4. You're good. Actually, it depends on the engines. More than that. I haven't played Forza in quite some time, so I don't really know. But it would be fun. You should.
Actually, the last time I was there, it was the stock exhaust. Like it hadn't blown up yet.
Right.
So I think, yeah, because I can look at the video. I've got video. I was only hitting like 90 miles an hour. That header and exhaust was good for like 20 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah. Well, plus I had better tires too, but so maybe I can carry more speed through going into the front straight. Sure. But I hit like 110.
That's impressive. That's only like 10 miles an hour under like maximum velocity. That's pretty good.
I mean, it's kind of optimistic 140 mile an hour speedo.
I figure the car's probably good for about 120.
Yeah.
It's a similar power output to like the old Mirage, right?
No, it's 150.
Is it that high?
It's like 148 factory, so
maybe it'll go a little faster. I guess it all depends on
that header.
But the Mirage was good for a theoretical, I'll say, 115. So
yeah.
It'd probably be better, faster than that, I'd assume.
You can definitely feel the header in the upper power band. Like that's where it definitely you can legitimately feel the difference.
Is there a Nissan Primera in Forza? There must be, right?
There is not.
Oh,
that's annoying.
I was gonna say we could build the car in Forza with your exact mods and see what it actually comes out to. No. That'd be interesting.
There probably is one in Gran Turismo, but Lime Rock is not in Gran Turismo.
Right. Well, thankfully you don't need it because you have the real thing.
It's true.
I'm surprised there's no Primera in Forza. That's weird. Especially with the
What's really surprising in Forza, I mean, it came out in 2017, so maybe not. But there's no Mark 7 GTI. It's Golf R.
Yep.
And the reason why I say that is because I wanted to drive a Mark 7 GTI because that's what I rented on the Nürburgring.
Oh, the Nürburgring? Okay. I guess the Golf R would give you a similar
feel
of the game.
I found like a modern Clio, whatever Type R, whatever the hell the Clios are called.
Some
and
similar
just did
front
like
drive
a
hatchback.
Yeah, and just did like a Nürburgring tune on it that somebody had. It seemed to be pretty good. Which I got to do some more of those laps to kind of get used to it.
Yeah, I'm quite envious of that day too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that was super fun. And hopefully when I go to do Palmer. So a Track Night in America event is 3 20-minute sessions. And you get a discount being an SCCA member. Usually there's some sort of discount coupon from like this past month. April was sponsored by Haggerty. This month the email said it's sponsored by the SCCA. So like if you joined, plus they'll give you a coupon, so you end up with like $40 off of entry. Lime Rock's the most expensive one to do around here. So I think even with discounts it was like $220 for an hour of seat time.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
And then, if you do like Thompson, they're like $150, $140. It's a lot cheaper because it's just Thompson. And the same for NHMS. It's less. That might be a little bit more. Maybe it's $160. And then, so the reason why I said that it's 3 20-minute sessions, I haven't run with them yet. I'm doing the Mass Tuning Trackfest group, which is supposedly everybody says is pretty good that I've talked to. Because it costs money, keeps the jokers out. They're doing that at Palmer. That's on a Saturday. 7 20-minute sessions.
Whoa!
For it was like $250.
That's not bad then. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, I don't even do all 7 because I'm like too tired. Like they're like, I'm too tired after like 5.
Yeah, having done like go-kart days, I understand that completely.
I get tired like at the end of 3. I'm like, all right, I'll like, you kind of look at the time you went out and you're like, all right, it's been 10 minutes here. Instead of going like, 8 or 9 tenths, I'll go like 7 tenths, just kind of chill. I'll still drive fast, but not like super fast.
Not super fast, yeah.
Because it's like my rule with skiing. That's what gets you. It's like the last run. You're like, I'm just going to do one more run. And then you're off into the trees.
Yeah, you're too tired, too mentally drained on top of being actually drained.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to get out to Arizona Motorsports Park here. It's a half hour from my house. So I should go do it. I just haven't done it yet. I don't know if they do Track Night in America there, but I know they do different track events there. So that's at the Litchfield Park, Arizona Motorsports Park in Litchfield Park, Arizona. So I have to get out there and do it because, like I said, it's a half hour from the house, so it just makes sense.
Well, what's interesting, apparently too, the New England region, because we have like the most tracks, we have the most Track Night in America events.
Okay.
So just an interesting fact we learned.
I'm looking right now, and it looks like they have Pro Autosports track days and Excel track days.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know anything about either of those things, but I should just do it.
They're all generally pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all pretty similar.
And like I've said, so I mean, there's risk, right? But pretty much when you're at an open track day, everybody's driving a car that they like. So nobody's going to intentionally make contact.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's basically like there's like, and the woman that is the head of the SCCA that was giving her a speech, Kathy, Not different Kathy than Rally Kathy. This is the other
Right.
Kathy in New England Region SCCA.
This is Pavement Kathy versus Dirt Kathy.
Yeah. But she's like, yeah, it's like the point by, it's like a social contract there to like let somebody go by. Like, you're not, everybody wants to keep their car nice. So just, she's like, it's 2 movements: arm out the window, foot off the throttle. And, if everybody's like, you generally just etiquette, watch your mirrors, try to let people pass. Because otherwise people get annoyed with you, and it's just kind of like, come on, just let people go by, because they end up with like a freight train of cars behind you.
Which you don't want, obviously. You don't want people to be annoyed at you, just like being in traffic. Like, move out of the way of faster cars. Like, it's very simple.
And the thing when you're doing point buys, so a lot of times I'd get on the straight, and I could see like there was 2 or 3 Camaros in the run group. Those guys are running together because they're fast. I can, I'm doing the mental math here. I'm like, all right, we're coming up to the passing area, so I'm just gonna, like, I might as well let these guys go. I don't want to go all the way down the straight and then have to do another lap. Like, it's annoying, right? So, and then you point for every car that's behind you, just as an acknowledgement. So that the car that's right behind you, you point. Then you can bring your hand back in, let them go by. Then you can point the other guy, and you just keep doing that, because that's like the cue that you're acknowledging that you see them.
Okay.
So that's a little track day tip.
So just like put your finger up.
Just like, make a gun symbol in your hand or whatever.
Don't come by.
2 fingers.
I'm gonna shoot you. All right. I'm into it. So yeah, I'm looking at the website right now for Pro Autosports. They have a bunch of events here in Arizona, so I need to figure it out, I guess.
Well, yeah, so that was cool. And then
$140 a day for street cars.
There you go.
And you can have passengers? Interesting.
Huh, interesting.
Passengers allowed in street groups only, must have a helmet and pay weekend passenger fee.
Oh, I used my Hans. That was interesting.
Oh, yeah, that was new for this event.
Yeah, I had to get used to, because obviously it needs to limit how far your head and neck can move. So but if it's too loose, it's not going to work. But if it's too tight, it's like too annoying. So it kind of had it adjusted, I think, correctly. It was enough that I could turn my head to check mirrors comfortably. But like, if you like had to look over your shoulder or something, you would have to turn like at the waist. But I think that's set up right.
Well, I don't think you need to move that much anyway if you're only driving forward. You're not trying to back the car up somewhere, right?
No. And you don't want it to be super loose, because that kind of defeats the purpose of it.
Defeats the purpose of it? Yeah, exactly.
But it wasn't uncomfortable. It was just funny because when you're wearing it, like, it almost felt like I didn't have the 3-point belt on. A couple times I'm like, oh, do I have I had to like check, because it just gives you a different. It's like a chest harness, so it gives you a little different feeling of where there's belts.
And where does it mount to in the car?
It doesn't mount to anything. It mounts to my body.
So it basically keeps your head in line with your shoulders.
So it's a like a chest harness that goes over like your pectorals and buckles in the front, and then it has a stiff like carbon fiber spine part.
Okay.
So imagine, you know what the regular Hans looks like, where it's just like a U that goes around your shoulder.
Kind of yeah. So
it's basically that, except it goes down about midway down your back, and
so it looks like a deflated life vest.
Yeah, sort of, and it looks like but it doesn't. So on this one, the things don't come down the front as far.
Okay.
Like on a traditional one.
All it needs to do is keep your head in line with your shoulders, basically, so your head can't move further than it's supposed to.
And the back of it looks like when you see a guy wearing motorcycle leathers, and he's got that bump in the back, the humpback. That's what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah, but it's not
But
uncomfortable.
it somehow it's flat enough that when you sit in the car, it's comfortable. Yeah.
I guess when you think about the way the car seat is, like a street car seat, it does come away from your back at the top. Like your lumbar support is where you touch the seat, and then the rest of the seat is not actually touching your back unless you're leaning back on purpose. So I guess that makes sense. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was concerned. Some people
is it becoming more common, or
it's not becoming more common. I mean, it was expensive, but if you're doing enough of these, there is the added risk that you could have it off. So I might as well.
Sure. No, I mean, it makes sense. You wear a helmet, not to save yourself in a crash. You wear a helmet to crash. So you might as well prepare for the crash. They say, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I watched
don't try to crash, but prepare for the crash.
At Thompson, a person came around the corner and another car had spun, and before that car could get out of the way, they T-boned him. It wasn't super hard, but it was hard enough that they were in a car with a cage and they were wearing a Hans, so it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
But Joe and I were talking about this. When you're at Lime Rock, you come around the corner and you go up the uphill, you cannot see it over the top of the hill. And you get light over that hill. So if somebody got light and spun, you're going to go right into them.
You wouldn't know they were there. Yeah.
No.
Interesting. Now, what would you say? Were other people wearing them in street cars?
Not this one. It's not common to have. Okay. I know people that do use them, like Randy Probst uses this model. Because if you're doing a lot of test driving of cars, especially fast street cars, they don't have cages or harnesses.
Yeah.
This is the only one that's rated to work with a 3-point.
Street cars are too fast now, so.
Yeah.
Like a modern street car is significantly faster than the cars Randy Probst was driving when he started his career. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Give me slow old garbage. I'm so much happier. But yeah, I definitely want to try one of these. And while I've been sitting here talking about it, I have been looking at a couple things. So I just need to figure out what car to use, and I just need to start doing it.
Well, I had that day off, and I had a claim ticket for a package, and I couldn't remember what it was or where I ordered it from. And I was like, I was home the day it showed up, but I wasn't expecting it. So I was downstairs in the office, and I didn't go up when the guy rang the doorbell because I was expecting another package that just got left. I actually kind of get annoyed when signatures are required.
Yeah,
so anyway, I went to the post office that morning to grab it. I got back to the house and I was like, what is this? Totally forgot. I had ordered from Kenjiro Shinzuka, the Mitsubishi driver from the 90s who raced in the Ivory Coast. He's one of the best performing Japanese drivers in WRC because he won one of the Africa races.
Okay.
In the Galant.
He also did Dakar too, didn't he?
Oh, a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So the guy's in his 70s now, and he was trying to raise money to go race in the Africa Eco Race, which is basically the spiritual descendant of Dakar in Africa.
Okay.
And I think something happened. Maybe he got COVID or something right before the race. Because they do the race happened. No. This was this year. And they do the race maybe after Dakar or before. I forget. It's
definitely
not,
either after or before. Yes.
Well, I follow it on Instagram, but it's not as well publicized as Dakar, even though it's basically the old version. But anyway, there's something happened and he wasn't able to attend, but they still sent me the swag bag that I bought to support him, which was only maybe it was like $150 or something, because it came with a t-shirt and a 1/43 of his 92 Piero. Like an IXL,
I saw that. I was
a
like,
nice one.
I should have ordered that. It's
yeah.
so cool.
With all his branding on the box, which is cool.
Yep.
And then the really cool thing
is that, and I don't know, I didn't expect it, was he sent a piece of paper with like, they must have like a stamp with like this logo made on it. It's like stamped, and then it's got some other Japanese writing on it and the races, but then his signature in ink on it, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So
I'm not a signature guy, but like sometimes it's cool when you get one.
It's cool because he raced a Gallant, right?
Yeah,
for me,
sure.
So
We all have our reasons for liking people we like. It's kind of like why I, obsess over that rally driver from the 60s and 70s, the Flying Sikh, because he was the guy who put Colt Lancers on the map after he won, the East Africa rallies and all that stuff in Lancer and Colts. So I get it.
So I gotta get a frame for it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's pretty cool.
For sure. I gotta see if I
and
can
then I
get
was gonna
at
take
least
like some pictures of it and like tag them on Instagram with the Gallant.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I like it. I don't have a Gallant anymore, so I guess I don't need that. But I do.
No, I guess not.
With the diecast. I do with the diecast at least. Yeah, I wished I had bought it. It would make a cool addition to my, for lack of a better word, shrine of Mitsubishis in my spare bedroom. So, which I'm recording right next to and looking at where I would put it right now if I had that 143rd diecast. I wonder if they make that. They must sell it outside of that as well. You must be able to buy it. I don't have any diecasts of that era, Dakar vehicle. I have a few of the early, boxy Pajero, but none of the later ones.
213 is the number on it. But
yep, I'll have to look for it. Like I said, I don't have any of that generation. I have earlier and later. None of those kind of boxy, crazy like full rally ones.
I'm trying to look at my shelf over here. I don't know if I've got the Ivory Coast Hasgawa kit. Huh.
I guess you need to buy another model car, Andrew.
Yeah, it might not be available right now. I'll have to look. They do re-release them every now and then.
Yep.
I've got like
cool
5 different variants of it now. Well,
I have a couple.
It has all the extra lights on it and stuff.
Okay, that's true too. Like, yeah, I think I have
1,000 Lakes, Monte Carlo, Sweden. I've got the Advan one, the Shell one. I've got another one coming too. They keep doing like variants of it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I only have 2 of the red, white, and blue livery ones, or red, green, and blue livery ones. So one I think is Sweden. I think I have for sure, and maybe they did Monte Carlo.
It's the same box, Monte Carlo, Sweden.
Oh, is it? I don't have 2, and they're 2 different boxes, so I'm not sure what they are, but I do have them. I get back into building models. It's been since a while since I did the last one, unfortunately. So I built those 2 Corollas and was all gung ho, and then haven't touched any since. So unfortunately, it's just been busy. So anyway, anything else going on in Massachusetts, Andrew?
No. Nope. That was it.
Excellent. Any events coming up?
Well, the event I'm going to miss tomorrow.
Other than the one you're going to miss?
There's the other podcast up here, Revival Motoring's doing one of their donut meets Sunday.
Oh, okay. Those are always good.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Q45 down. Need to exercise that a bit.
Put a for sale sign on it?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
You should. Maybe not even like a typical for sale sign, but something like more subtle, maybe. Like, I don't know. Who do we do? They can print some letters out for you, put on the window for sale. That would be kind of
the used car lot ones.
Yeah. No, I mean just like a vinyl cutout of like the word for sale and put it at the top of the windshield or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I feel like that crowd
stop
would be
somewhere
kind of
and take some pictures of it.
Yeah, you get it out anyway. You might as well. Well, that'd be cool. So if any listeners are in the area and want to go down on Sunday to that event, they can see Andrew there. And he probably won't bring stickers because he always forgets, but you can ask him.
and you can give them to you. Got 'em.
Oh, that reminds me. A listener, Joel, was at Lime Rock. We're friends on Instagram. I don't remember your last name.
Oh.
But and I forgot. Well, I didn't bring any stickers because I just wasn't expecting to meet any listeners, so I didn't have any. But
Okay.
I'll throw them in the car, and I know he had a couple buddies there running track nights, the track night event. So, if you're at another track night and I'm there, I'll try to have stickers for you.
Do you remember his Instagram name?
I don't off the top of my head.
Just put you on the spot. I think, did he comment on your page maybe?
He did.
Yeah.
And
I think we should probably at least remember his Instagram name here. I don't think I've ever met Joel, have I? I don't think so.
I don't think so. If I can get into my phone. Okay. This is riveting podcasting. Absolutely fantastic.
Jay Brownsy.
Thanks. You got it.
Joel Brownsy. JBROWNSEY is his Instagram name. Oh, it's private. So there you go. Probably didn't even want us putting it out there. Sorry, Joel. Anyway, yeah, that's cool. It's cool to meet people in places that are automotive related, of course, or anywhere, but it's always neat to meet new people like that. So yeah, carry stickers on you. I have them in my wallet, Andrew. It's probably a good move. Just put a couple in there.
Okay.
Just in case. You never know when the people might strike. So I've met people at random places. You never know. So yeah, I have not done a ton of car stuff this week. For those that don't know, I started a new job and it got pretty crazy pretty quick. And I've been putting in a ton of hours, unfortunately. So I haven't been around much to work on cars. I think I have one minor update. It's actually kind of a major update. I just didn't do it. I think I talked about dropping the engine off at the machine shop for the Mustang.
Yeah, we talked about it.
So I got it back.
Yep, we talked about that too, and they didn't charge you.
Did we?
Yep. Well, how would I know about it?
Because I talked to you off the podcast?
No, we talked about it on the podcast.
Huh.
Yeah. Believe it or not.
All right. Well, I won't talk about it again. I feel like that was after the podcast, but
nope.
I guess I'm incorrect. So, yeah. So the motor's back. We ordered a gasket set so we can put it back together, and stay tuned. That shouldn't be too long from now. So, but that's the only update, which is not an update according to Andrew, so I won't bore you all with the same story again. I haven't really done much else other than I did go to an event. We had the last, because obviously, seasons are opposite out here. Like we drive our cars less in the summertime than the wintertime.
My car season's over.
My car season's over.
My car season's over. It's May.
Listen, Andrew, I'm not actually crying about it because car season's not over. It's just some of the events stop. I'm still going to go do things because I don't care when it's 110 degrees. I enjoy it. And also living out here, I have become a adept mechanic at fixing air conditioning. So I have multiple cars with working air conditioning, so I'm not worried about it. I can go to events. So, but the last official Kyusha Club show of the year was this past week. And it was combined with the Arizona Classic Japanese Car Club event. And now these both say club, but neither of them are actually a club. It's just the name of the, organizer of the events. So, we're not big club guys here, but these aren't clubs, so it's cool. So Kyusha Club is pre-2005 Japanese and European cars. I think
Perfect.
I talked about the event before. Yeah. But the problem is, in the past few events have been pretty good, but they've been spoiled by people with cars that don't fit the theme showing up. So pre-05 is a pretty big range of cars. That's from the beginning of cars until 2005. Right. And then people with newer G35s and, 370Zs. And mostly the problem is the BMW folk.
Is it Edwin's? Is that what it was?
No, Edgar's. No, it's not even the Edgar's. Edgar's the G35 owners. It's not even them. It's the BMW crowd and to a lesser extent the Mercedes crowd of the modern era stuff, we actually haven't had a big issue with the Cam Stang crowd, which is the Camaro Challenger Mustang crowd. It's been mostly BMWs and Mercedes that just show up and think they belong there, and they don't.
The show is advertised as Japanese and European, so
actually,
right.
It is advertised as that, but I mean, they're thinking outside theme, and they're showing up much later than 05. Like a 2-year-old M3 doesn't belong there. So for this last event, they organized it with the two groups together. So the Arizona Classic Japanese and Kyusha Club, and they went to High Street, which is one of those like all-in-one living, shopping, working districts.
Yeah, the fake downtown.
The fake downtowns.
Hey, we ruined cities, but we made a new city.
We made a new city outside of a city. Don't worry about it. But it makes for cool photo backdrops for cars anyway. And pre 10 a.m. on a Sunday, it's pretty dead there. Now, normally, this is the same location where they do on the first Saturday. They do an event which mostly attracts mostly supercars. I took you there when you were here, and you were like, meh, it's all supercars. And I was like, yeah, no, I agree, but I wanted you to experience it. I don't normally go to it, but here we are. It's also only like 20 minutes from my house, so it's cool to have a good event there. So it's the same location, but they did it on the final Sunday of the month. They were limited to half of the space that the big event is. And then on top of that, they limited entries to 111 cars. And they curated parking where they were going to park, and they put people in certain spots, and it was pretty cool. So
perfect.
Yeah, it worked out so well. I can't even complain. There's nothing to complain about. There was everything there from a Gullwing Mercedes, which doesn't sound like it fits the theme, but it does, up to, a 2005, probably 2005 M3, which is fine because it fits the theme. So the majority of stuff there is mostly 80s and 90s, which is obviously, for lack of a better word, we'll say the Radwood era and the era of cars that we love. There was a bunch of 70s stuff there too, because that's also an era of cars that I love. Not much.
We can just say retro cars.
Yeah, retro cars. I like it. Not much earlier than the 70s, except for, like I said, that Mercedes SL, which wasn't even a typical Mercedes SL. It was like rockabilly hot rod 53 Chevy style. Like it had no hubcaps, steel wheels that didn't match the car that were like contrasting, and they were heavy metal flake wheels. It had like hand painted Mr. Horsepower, bird heads on the fenders. The dashboard was all done in this like intricate pinstriping. It had like a yellow lucite shift knob. Like it was a rad hot rod SL, and that's just something you don't see ever. So it made it fit the theme a little better. But overall, I mean, looking at the pictures of the show, if I didn't live here and didn't experience this show here, I'd be jealous I wasn't there. It was such a rad event, and it was such a departure from everything you're used to. There was nothing to complain about. Every car was cool. I could just list the cars over and over again that were great, but it's not necessary because the cars are just, it was great. Like I was able to park alongside a certain area where they parked all the Cressidas together, and they were 3 of the 4 Cressidas at the event got to park in a row. So there was my blue 79, there was a yellow 77, which I think I've probably shown pictures of before, and then there was an X7, which is like 85 to 88 body style. We all parked in a row. There was one more Cressida, another part of the show. Like it's amazing to think that all these cars exist in this one area, and we're all enthusiasts about the same things, and it's so cool. I can't even say enough about it. Because it was a pre-register show, they were able to keep out all of the cars that don't belong, because you had to basically prove your car fit the theme to even be allowed in, which is the kind of gatekeeping that I'm here for. It's okay. Because the show is supposed to be for these things, and if you show up with something that isn't one of these things, you don't belong there. Period. I don't even know if that's actually gatekeeping. That's just making a plan and sticking to it, right? But
it's literally gatekeeping because you're not letting someone in.
Yeah, but it's not like the bad definition of gatekeeping.
You can't.
I'm okay with gatekeeping, Andrew. That's all there is to it.
If you have to at some point, okay.
Yeah,
Look at Lefkehult.
Sure.
I wanted to go with my 91 Gallant, and I couldn't go in. Those jerks.
What a bunch of jerks. You're like, I'll even drain the coolant out, and it'll be air cooled, and I'll fit the theme. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes it's necessary to have an event. The dogs are, hey guys, stop. All of a sudden dogs are fighting. They've been quiet the whole time sitting right here. I forgot my place. Anyway, yes, sometimes gatekeeping is necessary. And it's not that gatekeeping, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to say it, that gatekeeping is fine. I don't care. I want to see what I want to see, and tough luck if you don't have that. So the event was set up for this particular thing, and it was able to fit it. But it was pre-reg. There were 111 cars total. That way there weren't too many. They had a coffee truck, and they had a chilaquiles truck. Ever had chilaquiles?
Maybe. I can't think of it, what they are.
So essentially, they're nachos.
Are they fully loaded nachos?
Chilaquiles are fully loaded nachos, essentially. But they're like corn tortillas that they fry and make them into nachos. And then these were breakfast chilaquiles because the event was 7 to 10. So then they put like scrambled eggs on with cheese and chorizo, and it was just all the other toppings, the pico and everything else. It was just absolutely spectacular food. So they had a chilaquiles truck and they had a coffee truck, and it was the coolest event I've been to all year, and I am super stoked for next year's events. So gonna be into it. I'm gonna be as into it as both these dogs are to this one ball they're fighting over. But yeah, no, it's cool. I'm into it. I hope that you get to catch one with me next year. I mean, it was like everything I like about a Radwood show as far as the cars, and then more, because it was able to get like the 70s stuff in there, and it was just the show for all the stuff that doesn't normally have a show, I guess. So I'm into it. We gotta keep it going. Next year's gonna be big, and yeah, super stoked. Anyway, but that's it. I haven't done literally anything else except for workout here, Andrew, and that's got to change because I'm getting burnt out quick.
Yeah. And then NASCAR was rained out, so I didn't watch it Sunday, and I was working Monday, so I didn't watch the race, and I don't even know what happened.
I watched the highlight reel, but that was it. I didn't actually watch the race either because,
Was it a decent race, or?
It seemed like it might have been, but I don't know. I didn't get to watch it. I think that Martin Truex won.
Yeah, it was Dover.
Yes. Yeah, Martin
It's
Truex
kind of a cool
won.
track.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool track. It's a tight track. It's definitely a lot of good racing there. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't see enough. I saw that our least favorite guy crashed, so it's fine. So it's all
yeah, I don't know. There was some controversy over Chastain like bumping some guy.
Yeah, Chastain pulled a move that was probably a little aggressive, but that's Chastain. It's fine. Dale Earnhardt did it, and everybody loved him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's NASCAR. I don't know what you want to do.
Well, it's NASCAR. It's your favorite driver gets bumped. Whoever bumped him, you hate him, and that's how it's always been. That's
it's like just a bump and dump. I don't know what you like.
Yeah. Yep.
People are like, oh, make the cars more fragile, and then they won't do that. Oh, I don't know. That's
like, yeah, cars used to be more fragile, and they still did it. So,
but also like they had even less contact still. But yeah, I don't know.
It's fine. It's fine. Doesn't matter what you do, somebody's going to complain. I was fine with it. Everything was fine. The race went on the way it's supposed to, and there was a winner in the end. And if your guy lost, oh well. My guy lost too. It's fine.
Yep.
Well, I don't have much to say about it because I didn't watch it. So,
no, I didn't.
No NASCAR talk this week.
Nope.
Sorry for our devoted NASCAR fans. You'll have to go to a different NASCAR podcast and hear somebody else who watched it.
So. There's some F1 race on. Didn't watch that either.
I did watch the IndyCar race. It was at Alabama.
Shoot, that's what I should have watched, and I forgot. You know what it was? I realized the NASCAR race wasn't on, and then I went and did something else, and then forgot that I had set a reminder for the IndyCar race.
I like literally sat down with like food and everything to watch the NASCAR race. I was like, all right, I'm going to sit down and watch this race. and then it was non. So I was like, I don't watch the IndyCar race. Plus, I'm going to the Indy 500 at the end of the month, so I'm trying to like get drivers' names straight and who's who.
So was it an oval or was it a road course?
No, Alabama's a road course. Alabama is a road course, which we need to get to.
Really?
It has the greatest motorsports museum possibly in the world at it.
What race course is this?
Alabama?
I never heard of it.
So I think it's Skip Barber Motorsports Park?
Oh, okay.
It's now I feel like I'm wrong. But the museum there is literally like one of the most impressive racing museums ever. Like ever. So good. Let's see. Yeah, it's Barber Motorsports Park, Birmingham, Alabama.
Huh.
Yeah, if you look up images of that museum, it's absurd. Like it's absurd. You have to go.
I watched the first one at Homestead, and I watched the second one. I think was at Long Beach.
I watched Long Beach,
and they were good races.
Yeah, they were. It's everything cool about F1 plus actual racing. I don't know why it's not more popular.
Listen, a lot of people really like F1. I really tried. I don't understand it. What the appeal is to watch 10 cars, 20 cars.
Just driving in the line.
Just drive around. Nobody really passes. When one person passes, it's like, whoa, the move from 5th to 6th or the 6th to 5th move was like the most impressive thing the whole race. You're like, okay.
Yeah. Cool.
That sounds terrible.
Whereas in IndyCar, there is constant passing the whole race. It's one of the best like motorsports out there, I think, as far as open wheel stuff goes.
Yeah, if someone could explain it to me what the appeal of F1 is, I'm trying. I've tried.
Yeah, no, same.
We have friends that we're hanging out with over the weekend and they're not like big car people. And the dad, his son's like a week older than Marco, was I was telling him about Le Mans, and he's like, we should go to F1 in Montreal next year. I'm like, okay.
So expensive.
I said that. He's like, no. He said Montreal's like still kind of cheap. I was like, okay. I'm going to cut most of that on your end. So,
okay, good.
Anyway,
well, if anybody hears
do outros.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, IndyCar is great. You should watch it. The road courses are especially good. It's really good racing. Interestingly, we didn't even talk about it, but the current big trend in like, I guess like Instagram cars is to make your car look like it's in Initial D, which was kind of neat the first couple times I saw it, but now I'm like kind of over it.
I've only seen the one guy we know locally here that did it was Challenger, which is kind of cool because it's like super trolly.
Yeah, it's a
but like it looks good.
Trend. I've seen a bunch of them. Huge trend. There's a guy with a brand new McLaren done up that way. Anyway, I'm tired of seeing them, but I thought it was cool that Acura got in on it, and the pace car for Long Beach was a new NSX that had that paint up like that on it.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, very cool. So, anyway.
Is it a new NSX or no longer made NSX?
Well, yeah, whatever the most recent NSX is, was the pace car, because it's the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. So, anyway. Yes, outro time, Andrew. We're there.
All right, cool. So, yeah, follow us on Instagram, Auto Off Topic Podcast, Auto Off Topic on Facebook. It's Auto Off Topic on Twitter. I am on Twitter at Race and Anger. I'm also on Instagram at Race and Anger. And Brad, where else can they find us?
They can find us both writing articles, a few a week, on parkedontheblock.com. You can follow us on Parked on the Block on Instagram, Parked on the Block minus the K on Twitter, and you can find my personal stuff at TSISS350 on Instagram. Oh, and also Scale Autocast on Instagram. We're on there too. I actually was taking pictures last night to put on there because I've been slacking on that for a while concentrating on Parked in the Block stuff. So too many Instagrams for one man to run.
I got a bunch of stuff. I keep saying I gotta put stuff on there. But anyway, as always, keep your cars analog and aim for the roses.